my boy Assange, he did nothing wrong. Fuck George Bush, he should be in jail too. What?
That's very weird. So, what?
Hi there. In a world shaped by the lies of media propaganda, neither freedom nor democracy have meaning. Julian Assange has been silenced to maintain the lies of media propaganda. We must help wake each other up. We must all regain our faith in the truth. Truth is our power. Help free Assange.
Well, no.
Okay, fabulous.
Thank you.
It's Diane's birthday tomorrow, so we're going to celebrate. The bells are ringing for her, and we're going to sing for her. Okay, we ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Diane. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
Thank you everyone. It's really great being on this journey here with you and knowing you all, meeting you all and knowing you all. I just want to thank everyone for coming here every Friday. I think for the last 3 years it's been a great journey, sharing the journey with you. I really appreciate it. Meeting you all and getting to know you all, and it's really enriched my whole life. Thank you all. Thank you.
Welcome to the 166th week of Julian Assange Sydney Town Hall gatherings. Julian Assange founded WikiLeaks to bring about greater levels of democracy. Julian Assange knew that without truth, democracy is a fiction. Propaganda and secrecy lead us away from truth and democracy. A constant barrage of successive propaganda narratives distracts us from the goal of bringing about greater levels of democracy. Democracy requires our unity, and unity arises when we are aware of the truth. Because propaganda narratives are not based on the truth, they inevitably fall apart. When a propaganda narrative does fall apart, new narratives are constructed to divert our attention away from the path to truth, unity, and democracy. War is a major source of psychological distraction, used over and over because it heightens fear and division within our society. No decent human being wants the death and destruction of war. As Julian Assange realised, the way to prevent war is through revealing the truth. Greater levels of democracy are possible when people are truthfully informed. Greater levels of democracy inevitably lead to greater levels of peace. Those who hold power within our society are not interested in truth, democracy, or peace. They desire the maintenance and escalation of their power. These bad guys want us to think they are omnipotent. They are the ones who bully people like Julian Assange to intimidate the rest of us who have somewhat less bravery. Julian recognised that the unity of decent people is vital in the fight for truthful democracy. We must stay with the truth to build our unity. If we are distracted from the truth, we give away our power. We must stand firm, look at the evidence, see that truth is on our side. Despite a constant stream of media distraction, we must stay with the truth and maintain our goal of democracy. If we wish to live in a truthful democracy, we need to honour the work of Julian Assange. Do not expect our Australian government to honour Julian. The Australian government honours those who support dominant propaganda narratives. They do not honour truthful journalists. The Australian government likes to tell us it is doing everything it can to help Julian, but there is no reason to believe that. It says it is engaged in quiet diplomacy, but all available evidence shows us that the Australian government is doing essentially nothing to help Julian. We must be the ones to honour Julian Assange. He is the greatest journalist of our time. Helping others know the truth about Julian is one way we can honour him. Julian Assange is a real journalist. Julian Assange is an effective journalist. Julian Assange is a responsible journalist. We honour Julian Assange and we must free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. Thank you.
On 15 March 2006, coalition troops entered a home in Al-Sharqi district, Iraq, handcuffed the occupants and executed all 10 family members present, 5 of them young children. Subsequent airstrikes destroyed the home, but fortunately not all evidence of the massacre, some of which was later documented at a local morgue. This year marks the 20th anniversary of what was possibly Australia's gravest foreign policy mistake, the invasion of Iraq. The Australian Labor Party opposed the invasion, and its hands are free of the blood of the hundreds of thousands who died in the ensuing bloodshed, including those such as the family in Al-Sharqi. Just 4 years after the invasion, as the full failure of the Howard government's foreign policy became apparent, Labor won power from opposition for only the 3rd time since the Second World War. The Australian people honour our Anzac spirit, but support neither blind militarism nor servility. What we do support is a government that reflects abroad the compassion and optimism that mark Australians as people here at home. Unfortunately, the ALP under Simon Crean in 2003 was not possessed of the political power to stop the invasion of Iraq, but opportunities for compassion nevertheless abound. The massacre of the family in Iraq was discussed in emails authored by the UN Special Rapporteur on extradition, summary or arbitrary executions. We only know the truth about the incident because WikiLeaks published these emails in 2011. Influencing public sentiment in Iraq about the occupying forces and helping the Iraqis regain sovereign control over their country. Australians call a spade, and WikiLeaks Australian founder Julian Assange has exemplified our compassion for the vulnerable and our belief that justice can be served through transparency. WikiLeaks has published revelations about everything from widespread violations of the Geneva Convention at Guantanamo Bay to toxic waste dumping in the Ivory Coast, from illegal government surveillance to collusion between political parties and media outlets, from war logs to leaks about illegal banking practices. Assange has paid a heavy price for representing the interests of the world's most vulnerable people against the interests of the most powerful. He still sits in jail for telling the world the truth about a family in al-Ashaki and about countless other unjustly treated families around the world. The person who has done more than perhaps anybody to vindicate the opponents of the war in 2003 and illustrate that preemptive military action is a folly, now needs help from the party who judiciously adopted the anti-intervention policy 20 years ago. Tony Blair, former leader of the UK Labour Party, recently expressed regret and apology over the decision to commit troops to the Iraq invasion, noting that the intelligence assessments turned out to be wrong. If only he'd had access to WikiLeaks whilst deliberating, a publisher whose record of unblemished accuracy is unquestioned. A time comes in a successful politician's life when political capital accrues, and it can be used to do more than just apologise for grievous wrongs. Nothing will ever undo the injustice done to Iraqi families, but Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has an opportunity to show compassion for courageous truth-teller Julian Assange, and in doing so, imbue the world with a little more of the Aussie brand of optimism. That optimism is built on the knowledge that our collective welfare does not depend on the commission of unjust brutalities overseas, and that governments who believe it does should be embarrassed out of office. The next time a corporatist government of either persuasion entangles us in a war for profit, we must allow WikiLeaks to publish the truth and assist those such as the Labour Party members of 2003 who opposed the barbarism in Iraq. Mainstream media polls held by Fairfax and Alan Jones show that over 70% of Australians support the release of Julian Assange, and some polls show even higher levels of support. Julian Assange must be freed so that there is no repeat of the al-Ashaki massacre in our name. Prime Minister Albanese, please pick up the phone to the US President and use the political capital the compassionate and optimistic people of Australia have invested in you to restore some dignity to the memory of the family in al-Ashaki and the similar families all around the world. Free Julian Assange.
We are all Assange.